right, today we're going to talk about marriage killers and enhancers. Um, there are two really distinct lists of attitudes or behaviors or things that are involved in like enhancing your marriage and making it better. But there's also some really specific things that you can do if you want to kill your marriage, if you want to like murder that thing and get it out of the way. And so I hope all of you that are listening to this want to enhance your marriage, not kill it. And so I'm going to give you 7 really clear ways to make your marriage better. I'm going to give you 4 really clear ways to make your marriage worse. We're going to start with the worst so we end with the positive. One of the things that we notice in the counseling center is people come in upset, in pain. They come in with all kinds of like grief, all kinds of issue with each other. And I specifically deal with the high conflict marriage. Sometimes there's personality disorders involved. Sometimes there's just a lot of mischief that's gone on. And sometimes there's just a boredom that has settled in. And what couples do when they get super familiar is they start criticizing. Um, Really, if you define criticism as an expression of disapproval of someone based on your perception of them, your perception of their faults, your perception of their mistakes. Okay, now when I say your perception, the critique is when I assume something of my spouse negative. And so I've got this negative sentiment override, and I assume that that weakness is blaring. And so I like point it out. Like, I can't believe you blank. I can't believe you never fill in the blank. And so whenever you catch yourself using the always, never, um, I can't believe you are so blah, blah, blah. The idea behind criticism is you're making major assumptions over that person's existence, and you're making major assumptions over your lover's behavior and existence, that it's a weakness. Now, they may see it as a weakness as well and be sensitive to it. They may also be believing that you're just wrong, that they're not doing what you're assuming. They're not behaving in a way that you're assuming. Now, sometimes it's right in front of you, and so you can point it out. But the idea behind criticism is it's not really a healthy, uplifting, I want to help you be better. It's I want to cut you down. So criticism. If you criticize your spouse more than you compliment your spouse, in fact, the real ratio is 19 to 1. 19 enhancers, 19 build them up to every one put down or criticism. You might even look at it like every complaint has to have 19 like positives that's going on that's correct. Um, they say in the same research that it's 5 to 1 is mandatory, 19 to 1 makes a marriage happy. So if you want to just neutral coast and be pretty good, 5 compliments to every critique, all right? If you want to be off the charts happy, 19 compliments to every critique. I've had clients actually say, I can't think of 19 positives. That's how deep they've gotten into the criticizing. And the one that can't think of 19 positives is the problem, not the one with so many weaknesses that you can't think of a positive, because people, think with me. Every human being has skills and weaknesses. All of us, you, me, everyone. And so if you can't find 19 positives or skills or things that your partner does, your lover does wonderful, then one of your problems is you're too negative. We can call that negative sentiment override. Now, to switch to a positive sentiment override requires some things, and we'll get into that later. So the second one is defensiveness. Defensiveness is like this anxious challenge to the other person to avoid criticism. So I say, you never help with the housework. Yes, I do. I helped yesterday for 8 minutes. You don't give me any credit, ever. I give you credit all the time. See, that's going back and forth. That one's criticizing, one's defending, then one criticizes, the other defends. So the defensiveness is a way of shielding from criticism, and it can become almost like a lifestyle where you get together with your lover, one criticizes, one defends, one says something negative, the other one defends, and then they spend their evening in this lateral trying to win more criticism moments than lose. And it's this lateral, icky, keeping score. I lost a few. I took two criticisms, so I've got to bring out the big criticism and throw her under the bus. If we get in that kind of a cycle of defensiveness, the marriage is eventually going to fail. So to step out of it, we've got to stop the defensiveness and the critique that's negative and hostile and start just communicating with each other, trying to help each other be better. There's really three kinds of criticism. There's three kinds, not criticism. Okay, three kinds of defensiveness. Okay, I want you to think through that lens. Three different types. There's gaslighting. That's making the other person doubt their reality. That's a form of defensiveness. And that one's one that is, interestingly enough, sometimes people that criticize other people call them gaslighters just because they disagree with them. So I don't agree with you that we never have romantic times on the couch. Well, you're gaslighting me. And I'm thinking, well, no, I just am not agreeing with you on that comment. Can we talk about it? So gaslighting's not disagreeing. Gaslighting's when I make the other person feel crazy or feel like they're forgetting something. So my wife says to me, I would like more snuggle time and romantic time just while watching a show on the couch. And I say to her, well, we do that plenty. Like, if you think about it, we do that more than most other couples. Like, I can't believe you're insinuating that I'm not romantic enough. Like, I try to be romantic all the time. You're the one that has a problem with maybe being a little bit frigid. And it's just like your mom. You act like her with dad. And you've said you never liked how they were never romantic with each other. Now you're doing that to me. See, I basically did a couple of things. I've turned it on her and I've gaslit her. That's different than disagreeing with her. So keep that clear. The other one is shifting blame. It's like literally trying to shift the blame to the other person, the shifting it to like if it's the romantic time on the couch watching a show, say, well, I would be romantic with you on the couch if you would like take a shower once in a while, or if you would like have dinner ready on time, then I would feel like we have time for that. See, I'm shifting blame, like it's not my fault, it's your fault. Okay, and so shifting blame, gaslighting, or like really just attacking the other person and discrediting them. That's probably the third way. So you got gaslighting, you got shifting blame, and then just going on a direct attack saying, well, you never do it either. You always do that just like I do. Or, we both do that. There's all kinds of defensiveness. Okay, does that make sense, the defensiveness? Then there's number 3, stonewalling. Stonewalling is literally a refusal. It's like a retooling for war. It might look passive, it might look calm, but it's actually this process of like, I'm not going to cooperate. I'm not doing what you want, but I'm also not talking to you about it. I might just go for a drive for 2 hours. I might shut down and not talk for a week to you. But it's all a form of punishment and retooling for a major war. So that's stonewalling. And then there's also contempt. Contempt is the number one predictor of divorce. Contempt is when you really look at your partner as not even worth dealing with. It's just like you just roll your eyes and you just throw your arms up. You don't believe they even deserve scorn. So really contempt is like bottom of the barrel. We're just about done because I don't see you as having any value. That's contempt. All right, so the 4 deal killers for a healthy, happy marriage is criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling, and contempt. Now, if you want to think through the lens of what are the ways to combat stonewalling, contempt, criticism, defensiveness. So I'm going to give you 7. These 7 have a little bit of work behind them, but the work is romantic, okay? So number one, if you're in a relationship with someone, constantly update your needs list. Update and enhance the map for your love. Like, might need physical affection, I might need adoration, I might need companionship, I might need exercise, I might need time together alone and time alone. I mean, there's all kinds of needs. I might need my sandwiches cut diagonal, not straight across. All kinds of needs. But if we communicate with each other enough and share needs in a romantic way, it's really healthy. There's also complaining to enhance love maps. Yes, complaining. Every complaint has a nugget inside called a need that wants to be met. So talk about your complaints with each other and find the need that isn't getting met, and then start meeting those needs for each other. So enhance love maps. Know the pathway to create love feelings for me. And if I'm constantly working on learning my wife's love maps and she's constantly learning my love maps, we're constantly getting better and better together. And that's the goal, is to move forward together, understanding what makes each other feel good, feel loved, feel joy, feel completely anxiety-free and at peace. So if you think about enhancing love maps, that's number one. Number two, this one's super important. Nurture fondness and admiration. These are all straight from a research that John Gottman did with his wife, Julie Gottman. They did this 3,000 couples in these little love shacks around a lake with hundreds of cameras inside of each love shack, and watched people and helped people through certain things. And they found these 7 things. And so nurture fondness and admiration. That means think of things that are cute and funny about your lover. Think of things that enhance your view of them, that make you feel positive sentiment. Constantly update your fondness and admiration feelings for your partner. Now that's just makes sense, right? But if you're caught up in defensiveness and criticism, all aimed at winning the next battle, you're not going to be very fond of each other. And you're not going to admire each other. All those dating years spent, all those first years of marriage spent deeply in love, the honeymoon stage, will go down the toilet if you don't continue to search for ways to be fond of each other and to admire each other, to look for each other's qualities. Turn toward each other instead of away. So if there's some kind of an argument or something going on, turn toward each other and literally see the good in each other, okay? Turning away would be something like go to your friends and complain about your spouse. Turning toward would be a bid for attention, like, hey, can we go grab dinner tonight and talk? So that's turning towards. Turning away is, I don't believe you. I don't understand you. I don't want to talk with you. Turning towards is, I would love to sit with you. I'd love to talk with you. I can't wait till we're together this evening. Let your partner influence you. Men, this is especially on you. Statistically, men do not let their wives influence them, and their wives do let men influence them. So it gets imbalanced. But it goes both ways. You have to allow influence. Don't always seek advice from everyone else and leave your partner out. Don't always turn to other people for help when you need it or for comfort when you need it. Turn towards each other and really influence each other. Like date nights, both of you take turns choosing what to do. Don't just say, I don't care, whatever you want to do. Okay, so influence each other. Solve the solvable problems and manage everything else. If I'm chewing tobacco and that makes you gross out, I probably should quit chewing tobacco. Terrible example, but you know what I mean. There's certain things you can quit and solve. If I deep dive into porn and that makes you feel like it's disconnecting us, I can stop that. Personality traits you manage together. So certain things like I'm short, and so my wife's got to deal with a short husband, and she can't really ask me to be tall and me solve that problem and get tall. Again, another terrible analogy, but the idea behind it is most things in a marriage you manage together. You manage work ethic together. You manage humor together. You manage all of the different things that you have on your love maps together. And then the certain few things that just have a boundary attached to them that need to stop, you help each other extinguishing those out of your lives, okay? Overcome gridlock. The whole idea of overcoming gridlock is to stop trying to maneuver each other and cooperate. Gridlock would be, you always do this. No, I don't. I never do, but you always do that. It's this whole lateral fight where you criticize, you defend, then you criticize. That's gridlock. So the idea behind overcoming gridlock is, okay, let's figure out what we both want, not what we're both disappointed in. And then if we can figure out what we both want and where we stand together, and then what to do with the leftovers by agreement. So I'll share all my point of view, put it on the table. You share all your point of view, put it on the table. We see where we stand together on these two different points of view, and then the rest we make agreements on. We're out of gridlock, okay? Finally, 7, create this mutual marital governing purpose. The idea behind a marriage governing purpose is that North Star that you're both striving for. So I have my own personal governing purpose. What does my life mean? What is my life supposed to be about? What do I want out of this life? When it's all said and done, what eulogy would I like to be spoken of about me? My wife has her very own governing purpose. Together, we have a marriage governing purpose. Where are we going together? What am I going to do alone, and what is she going to do alone as an independent person, as a whole person? And what are we striving for together? So if I want to be a bank robber and she wants to be frugal and honest, we're not compatible. But if we both want to retire comfortably, I'm a spender and she's a saver, well, I can take my spending habits and she can take her saving habits and combine them, and we can budget together so we have a comfortable retirement, but we do fun things along the way. And it's all based on a budget that we put together, the two of us. So enhance and really create this governing purpose for your marriage that brings out the best of both of you. So if you think through that lens, those 7 principles for making your marriage better, enhancing it, is enhance those love maps, nurture fondness and admiration, turn towards each other instead of away, influence each other, solve the solvable problems and manage the others, overcome that defensive/criticizing gridlock, and create a shared marriage purpose, that North Star that you're both aiming at. That'll enhance your marriage. It'll make you happier. It'll bring you closer together, and it'll literally knock your socks off with intimacy. And so I challenge you to do that and avoid those 4 dill killers in the marriage, that defensiveness, criticism, the contempt, and the stonewalling. Just really avoid those. Go back and listen to the first of this if you need to. There's a link up there for the pages that you can go to in YouTube for our other videos, and we'll talk to you next time.